he gets it at what, 4.04? It looks like there. So, I mean, sometimes it's just not your day. Wee woo, it happened, everybody. The first 13-0 of 2026 in VCT went to Team Vitality against Giants. Now, Giants are not that bad of a team. This was actually their map pick as well, which doesn't feel good, of course, to lose 13-0 on your map pick. But that's the thing. This 13-0 was, I think, a little bit different to most 13-0s, because most 13-0s tend to be a good team against a bad team, but Giants aren't a bad team. And so that makes this one, I think, a little bit more special. And so we're going to kick this thing off here with round number 3. Of course, all 13-0s need a bonus round win, but look, the way that Valorant is this a bonus round? Look at that buy. Is that really that bad of a buy? Is this a bonus? I mean, it just looks like a full buy, which obviously if you manage your economy in a certain way, you can just do that, right? And we're going to see in this first round that we take a look at the bonus round. Vitality, they're going to go for this mid default. So they dart just here. They're going to send down the TP. They're actually then going to go for an Astra Stone, which forces West Side back, and Yampy TPs in. Now, what Yampy actually does next is quite interesting, because he's actually going to send his TP out here, right? Out towards A, now, to try and fake it a little bit. Now, this doesn't really work because the chamber trip is there, and so Giants, the trip doesn't go off, so they aren't worried about it. So when he fakes that gate crash just there, not much happens. And this is actually a little bit interesting from Yampy, because normally when a Yoru TPs deep pyramid, right, normally they send their TP back, kind of a safe option to then escape. Clearly the plan here was to go for this kind of, actual B split on the bonus round. And so here both duelists are right, and now we're going to get Durka, dashing in here in just a second and sending down his saturate. We will see that he then recalls and Westside does get hit by the hinder. However, I'm pretty sure that Flickless, we kind of saw him holding his stun. He has then stunned, and I'm going to guess, has hit Yampy here. Therefore, he can't scale up and, try and get this kill. So, actually, Giants at this point in the round are in a fairly decent position, right? These duelists now have, kind of not much util between them. Durka has no util left, essentially. You survived that kind of waylay burst. You're now going to come and reclear and kill Yampy in just a second, but they just don't realize that these guys are already on B.
The players start to make their way on towards site, but slow roll, and Yampy doesn't win out the duel. First blood goes GX's way.
Huge clear, backline gone, but now it's Profect trying to fight forwards and winning both duels.
Fantastic, West Side to come in, but it's Profect on top.
And you are going to see a lot of that in this video, of Giants just being confused, not realizing where Vitality are, and for most of it, I would give Vitality the credit. This one I do think is a little bit like over-eager from Giants. I don't think this is that great, because they should know that, this is a possibility. They've all grouped up there. They have left the B site. They kind of know that a B split was probably the plan here, so that shouldn't have been too much of a surprise for them. And they actually do see Unfake here. You'll actually see they do shoot at Unfake just there. So he's like here as well, and they do shoot at him. They just don't realize that Profek is also here, right? So, maybe you'd call that a bit fortunate, but I do think it's a little bit eager. You're in a 5v4. You don't need to rush back to the site straight away. And then we also get Chronicle here getting a kill in mid to kind of completely seal the round on the late lurk. So, this one, I would say maybe a bit more on Giants being a little over-eager. But you will see a lot of that in this video, of Giants basically just giving Vitality some free kills. But now let's take a look at round number 5 here. And in this one, this is one of the literal best, sights to see if you're a Veto main, because this is the Veto value that was promised. With the Veto in this round, it is crazy.
Player, that was a wild one. We'll have to see how he factors into this round, where Vitality are set up for a quick B pop.
The operator of Ara, the player who's always been good for it, won't be good this time, and now really under pressure. So the rest of Vitality looks to try and get rid of him, and it has been identified through Yampy. Oh, the Chronicle out of nowhere!
So yeah, this is just absolutely insane. I mean, again, Giants actually don't do too bad of a job. So obviously it's just a 5 group up here. We're just going B. Aura misses that first shot, but again, they stop Durka. They actually do it. This is good again by Giants, right? You would say like, okay, we've stopped Durka just there. He's now not a threat. Aura's got back to a safe position. Like, this isn't too bad at this point. If you're Giants, the Astrosuck's coming in. Yeah, they're Yoru ulting, and they're actually gonna breach ult as well. Right, but this is crazy from Vitality. The Sova ult comes in. Obviously, that is a bit of a problem that they're all kind of grouped up. You get a perfect saturate coming in here from Durka as well into a Sova ult. You try and breach ult out of it thinking, well, that'll keep us safe. It doesn't, because Obviously, he's not hit by it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to Chronicle. He's absolutely fine. And this was just so good. It was just so good from Vitality. And we have seen the Vita ult get quite a bit of value, right? In different games, but particularly when like on defense side, diffusing the spike, stuff like that. But that is just like highlight reel. Your breach ult doesn't matter. And here I am, you know, with all this other util that we're using, kind of farming the round. And now we'll continue to farm.
From Kron on the opener. And now in this 5 versus 3, he still wants to play ahead of the line and just keep on disrespecting GX.
And why should he move away, especially when he's hitting shots like that? GX so labelled in terms of trying to get back in, and when they do, they just...
Okay, now let's skip ahead to the very next round just here. So now it's round number 6, and in this one, I mean, like Vitality for the plan that they come up with, you could not dream that it would go this well, right? These kind of rounds are like, you know, what you draw on the map of like what is going to happen, but they don't actually ever happen like this, right? As you will see what I mean, because Vitality are just going to go for this mid play again, right? So we're in a 1-3-1, and you've actually got this A main push here from Giants, right? So they've got good control over towards A. Vitality don't even bother with A, really. So you got 3 people on the correct site just here. You know, it all looks good. That drone actually misses these 2, though, in mid, right? So these 2 will now walk down mid, and again, we're going to do a B split. And again, these B splits normally are quite tough, but the way that they do this one is very clever, right? So we're going to smoke off just there. We're going to show the Yoru just here, right? We're going to shock dart out this trip. We're going to get Yampy scaling up just here. And the crucial thing here is Flickless, because he's playing Breach. He thinks I need to be the one to stop this, right? So you got Dart, you got the Yoru clone coming up here. And now this is very good by Vitality, right? Because now Flickless turns around. And for these 2 now, it makes it very easy.
Yeah, and Yampy already being forced away as the players now start to make their move in behind enemy lines. And Giant X have no clue. No idea, and Derka straight away decapitates the first player on his crosshair as Prophet looks to get in and amongst it. It looks as if Vitality can...
So yeah, this is like if you literally drew it up to perfection, what does this round look like? It looks like this, right? And there are some crucial details in here of why this kind of goes wrong for other teams. One, this is a great way of kind of abusing these kind of smokes, right? These sort of like on-site smokes are often very strong for defenders, very hard for the attackers to kind of, you know, get past and whatever. But in these kind of rounds, it actually stops you from realizing that this is just Yampy. But Yampy also does a good job, right? By not dying. Your goal here, if you're these 2, is don't die. Because if you die and then they realize that there's like no trade or they can't hear anything else, they will then start to turn, right? People will then be like, okay, well, was this a fake? You know, are they trying to, you know, get a lurk in here or something like that? As long as you don't die, though, they will still be, you know, worried about you. As you can see here, everyone's looking this way, right, towards the site. And obviously, as you see, they catch this perfect timing to just come in here. But it is very important that they don't die. I mean, the timing is literally perfect because this smoke, you know, drops at exactly when you potentially would want it to. They get that kill, and then they kill Flickless. But then there are even more parts to this that go perfect for them. Yeah, they get this kill on Flickless. Then they get this kill here that's kind of a free kill as well. And Chronicle gets this free kill also. Look at that. Like everything went perfectly. You could not draw it up better. And then, yeah, okay, West Side gets 1. But that is pretty much, you know, we get flawless rounds. That is basically a flawless round from Vitality. Okay, let's skip it on now to round number 8, where, again, we just get, like, Giants just have no idea what's going on, right? At this point, they've taken both timeouts. Obviously, they're sick of all these kind of mid shenanigans going on, so they decide to triple stack mid. Vitality, perhaps somewhat aware of that. It does actually look like, you know, they potentially want to hit B here because there are 4 players there. But then they decide, actually, we're going to go towards A. And this time they're going to fake it with the Waylay Silver, as you see. So we got Waylay Silver out towards B here, and then we got these 2 coming over towards A. And you will see, again, I do think this is important because I do watch a lot of teams, you know, particularly last year, but it happened sometime this year as well, solo Sova fakes with smokes, right? And it never works. Teams are smarter than that. They realize that just Sova util alone isn't enough. But with agents like Waylay and Yoru, you can really sell this stuff because then it's Sova plus smokes plus the duelist. And that makes you think it is an exec, right? But the way that you can do this is, again, Waylay can go in and come back out. Yoru can go in and come back out, right? So they're the perfect agents for these kind of things. And this is Vitality using them to their absolute maximum, and as you'll see, again, making Giants clueless.
So far as Ara does find the opening pick, and it's a very quick response with his own ult to try and re-clear a B site, which has been fully vacated by Vitality, and Grubby just doesn't know where to look.
So again, they actually do get the first kill in this round, Giants, right? They actually do get a kill from the op here in mid onto Yampy, so he actually dies. But that doesn't necessarily tell you that this isn't real. Right, and so in they come now. Durka dashes in. They actually get out. They bait out the Waylay ult. He's just TP'd back. Look at them. Look at everyone here, fully rotating. I mean, this is kind of crazy, to be honest. But again, from Grabinho's point of view, you have to remember the Yoru was the one that was out towards A at the start of the round, right? So at this point in the round, the Yoru is out towards A, and they drone him. But then, of course, he TBs, but they end up killing the Yoru, right? So you can maybe somewhat understand what Grabinho is thinking here. Is the guy who was out towards A, that was my job, well, he's already dead. He died in mid, so they must be going B. Obviously, he ends up looking stupid, and then they do this Astral Wall just here. They're going to get the spike down. It is still a 4v4, but you already know the score of this game, so you already kind of know how this one's going to play out.
Nothing going in the end. Vitality moving to a full main post plant.
Yeah, and you've also got Dirka's ultimate as well.
Look to try and interrupt this as much as possible. Profek as well, of course, with the well, as always. Kron, first line of defense hit, but quickly tripped, followed up by Durka. First tap does invite the pull, and Profek obliges, as he should. Ara hunting inside the smoke, but the op's no good. Invalid currency in these parts. Vitality.
Okay, and then let's end here with round number 11. And this one is the tragic one, okay? We're going to pick this up about 30 seconds into the round, because not much has happened up to this point. You kind of see where Vitality are. They haven't done much. But we are going to get these two now pushing out of A main. But actually, this is a round that starts well for Giants.
Sometimes, and you are going to get exposed to so many different angles. And the fact that Dirk is backing him up so much now, just exactly what's required. I mean, Ara does land the...
But there you go. They get into a 4v3. This one is very winnable, right? This is a winnable round now for Giants. And at this point, Vitality, you know, still a bit unsure on exactly what they want to do. They are going to decide to come here over towards A, which is the weaker side of the map. But we get this double push out from Giants again down B. So they realize that that's the case. Again, you look at this map right now and you would think, you know, Giants should win this round. 4v3. You know, they know where they're going. They're in the right spot. You got a fast flank coming in as well. You should be like, this should be the round that they win. And it probably should have been the round that they win. But of course, it wasn't.
Vandal in hand, bullets already been shot, but there is a little bit of delay through the stunt, and that spike does need to go down, and go down fast. Unfake hitting the shots, and so is Yampy. Now Westside, what can you do?
I think there's time.
Oh,
just about.
Yeah, McDivide, but it's Profek to win out against.
So yeah, sometimes it's just not your day. I mean, 4v3, time is low. You know, I mean, they literally lose this one by milliseconds, you know, hundreds, if not thousands of a second to go into this one of why they lose. Because if you look at when Unfake, you know, gets back on this spike, I mean, look at that. He gets it at what, 4.04? It looks like that. So, I mean, sometimes it's just not your day. It's just not your day. Oh, man. And that's how they lost a 13-0 to this. But this is why I think this one is a little bit different, because there were some rounds that Giants could have won, but I do think this one is different because, like, you know, normally by the time you get to like 10-0, the other team in 13-0s tends to just be playing some awful stuff, you know, just like truly woeful Valorant. But that's the thing, Giants aren't a bad team, and they almost won map 2 on Breeze. You know, like, they aren't a bad team, so they actually were still doing things that, you know, generally made sense, but they just couldn't win a round.
Faking he was going to do some aggression, I don't know, but what's happened is Vitality on the other side
might just be consumed by the flames which kill them.
Well, Ara now looking to try and fight forward with support, but Vitality looking to brawl with them. They're ready.
It's happening.
As he hides, cowls away from the bodies that are sent his way. Vitality will have the first 13-0 of 2026.